What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Lindsay and I appreciate you being here. Lindsay, thank you for giving us the time as always.
Thanks for having me.
So today is June 29th. It's a Monday, and we're going to go over an awesome trade that both Lindsay and I were in this morning. The first thing that I want to do before we even flip the screen around, show you the P&L, show you the trade, and talk about that, is acknowledge how both of us were in this trade, but we did not tell each other we were taking the trade. We both just came to it after the fact. Oh, you're in? Oh, I'm in. Where's your stop loss? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you came to the desk this morning after having a great week last week, was there anything that you were really focused on that you wanted to highlight? You were like, hey, if I find a trade, I'm going to do this perfectly because I kind of have been messing that up. I want to focus on this.
Because this morning, being Monday, I usually am pretty later to the desk just because I like it to kind of play out. So it's funny because actually I got in the chat and I had seen that British pound pairs were coming down, and so I knew that they were kind of off the records for me starting my session. And I just glanced at EurCad on my phone because I wasn't at the desk, and so I knew I seen the perfect liquid 50. So I knew as soon as I came to desk that was a trade that I was looking at. Right. And I was just waiting on an opportunity to get in.
No, and that's a really good point, that trend, that perfect liquid 50. And Ryan and I were just speaking about that when we went over the trade from Friday, because we were like, look, Friday, end of the week, end of the month, sometimes it's a little choppy, but even there, if you find the perfect trend and you find the direction and you can line up and up, you're just waiting for the timing. You might not catch an all-day ripper like we did today every time, but more often than not, when you find the perfect liquid 50, the perfect EMAs, the space on ADR, the direction is fed to you, and you just got to line up your timing. Let me share my screen now. First, I have the P&L pulled up here on the left side. How I released myself out of this trade. So basically, what ended up happening is with our position, we went up about 1R, which was about 9 pips for me. How far was your initial stop, Lindsay?
Yeah, it was roughly the same. It was just 10 pips I had from my stop.
So in the first, as we graded the trade, as we started to see the trade develop, we wanted to be conservative. I think both of us sit in that boat because we are looking at a Monday. We want to see it build. So when we get up 1R, even on a B setup like this, because we both graded it a B, I don't want to marry it. I don't want to think, oh my God, this is going 800 pips. You know what I mean? It's just not the right approach on a Monday on a B setup. Were you in the same boat as me? Is that why you closed at 1R too?
Yeah, I didn't like the trend line coming into the trade either, so that made me even more conservative.
Me too. Yep. We'll show that in a second. And then as it developed, as you can see here from where I closed it, we moved up 2R, then to 3R, and then the final piece to about 5R here, a little bit more than that if you really stayed in. But with a 10 pip risk, you can see to go get 20, 22, 33, 50. That's a really good trade on a Monday. And as you guys all see through Lindsay's photos on Instagram and my photos on Instagram, we never try to get the entire piece of a move. We're just here to get what the trade will give us. But now, if we flip over to the chart, let's just look at the move here. You guys can see it never gave us an exit signal until after it went over 5.5R, just about 55 pips from the entry. What was interesting with this, and I want your feedback too, Lindsay, when we went up about 1R in the trade, right about here, we both locked our stop loss in profit. It could have been pinned out here, where we've seen that come and pin the 21. It happened to me a few weeks ago on GJ, and then it runs for multiple days. What was going through your head when you said, okay, I'm going to take some profit at 1R, lock my stop loss, and let it go? What gives you that patience now? Is it just doing markups and now you've seen it so many times you know how to do it?
Yeah, and I've just had this conversation with somebody else because I said that you've got to get in the habit of trusting your stop and trusting your analysis with the system and let it play out if you pulled the trigger initially. Because
think about it. If you had closed the trade, let's just say it had come down and broken the 8 and you closed the trade, in that situation, you wouldn't necessarily look back on it and think, wow, that was a mistake, because that's one of our exit signals. But here, if you were to close the trade, like I know some of the new guys did, they got out of the trade completely here, and then they got out of, some of the guys got out here, but for what? Impatience, right? We actually were talking about this on the call for our coaches call, you and me and Ryan. Now I gotta look it up because I can't remember my notes up. The disposition effect, which basically, which says that we're going to cut our winners way faster than we're supposed to, and we're going to hold our losers way longer than we're supposed to. So I'm aware of that now, just being aware. So when I see this, we see no exit signals. That's how I think you and I are both able to take advantage of that entire move, because we are aware of the fact that naturally, we are going to want to get out of this trade as soon as it moves into profit. But we know the system rules it now. I think experience does put that in our favor. My question for you also goes back to Friday. Tell me about this divergence that you saw from the RSI high here at 445 into the New York session. How did that play into the trade today, looking for longs?
Well, see, I came to it was Friday, so I just took the divergence to that, and then I had a zone there. And that, when I drew that zone from the top of that divergence structure, that actually gave me the place to put my stop today, because I knew that was going to be that level where it would come back to a home test, and that's what it actually did. So I think I got to remain in that trade because I actually put my stop loss just to cover the spread a wee bit further down, just under the 72 mark off of this zone. And it's funny because that's where it came back to test.
Came right back to it, right? It's crazy. So when you see this, do you say to yourself, like, do you walk yourself through it where it's like, okay, I have resistance on top, broken, now trying to use as support, and now I want to get the move on? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, and I also saw that was the first pullback to the 21 where we were getting in as well. So that was giving us for level 2.
Absolutely. When you, and that's crazy that you say that, because it's so similar. If we go back and look at Euro JPY really quick from Friday, just because you can see, here's the shift candle in the Asian session. Here was my first entry, was right off the 21. There's that drop, pull back into level 2. Here's the level 2 drop into the third entry here, which pushed us down into level 3.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, on EurCad today, I think both of us, if let me clean this up for a second here. Just go like this. If we were to just mark this as a long entry where we took our position, and we go to the higher time frames and we look at where it was at that point, I think this kind of tells you everything you need to know. Because even with the divergence present on top, I think you and I both drew it the same way. But some people would draw it like this, where they would take the RSI high from yesterday, Friday, into today's price action high here at 230. I don't do that because I think if it's on Friday, you want to leave it on Friday. Now, this divergence line would have created some restrictive risk reward at the point of your entry. You would have been saying, well, it could pin the divergence line and bounce. It might not break it. I don't know if I want to take that trade. But where I would defer to, whether you drew the divergence like this, or if you drew it how we had back here on Friday, which is where I would draw it, right? Because it gives you then that zone to trade off of. Either way, just check this out. Go to the daily time frame. The L50, just spread this out here. L50 is in the buy zone, just barely, but it is in the buy zone. This daily candle, if you look, is off the 8 EMA, which is a bullish trend. You can see EMAs are in a full uptrend here, so that's bullish on the daily. Okay, let's go down to the 4 hour. Where are we here on the 4 hour? Let's get rid of this. Same thing. Outside the 8 EMA, TDI in the buy zone. Great. EMAs are in an uptrend, even better. Long biased on the 4 hour. How about the 1 hour? Same thing. Prices outside the 8 EMA, L50, TDI in the buy zone. Every time frame that we use was long biased. So even if there's divergence, as long, in my opinion, what I was saying in the chat today, as long as it's not in the Asian range and that there's space on ADR, take it. Put some type of risk on that, because we've seen it just go and build divergence and build divergence and build divergence for days and carry a trend for days. I think you can't fight trends in the Forex market, right? We trade this market to be a part of those trending markets. Did you use the higher time frames like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I used the higher time frames, and I also used the higher time frame. Although it was at ADR, I also used the higher time frame to give me that level, because I knew that I had been back up at that kind of 54.20 level on the 4 hour chart and had already that marked. So that was another reason why I exited. Although
good call.
ADR is maxed out, but you have seen it push through ADR before. But I thought it's interesting to see if it could have got to 54.50, but it didn't. It came back down.
That's crazy. That's a great call. I mean, look at that on the 4 hour. You can see, so everybody, you see the green horizontal lines. That's average daily range. So as this trade pushed up and we closed the trade at that level, for you to be able to go on the higher time frames and see it here using that wick, this is back from the 10th of June. That's very solid. Was there anything else that you looked at for the exit, or was it just, hey, I'm up over 5
I was just following my exit rules and doing my R multiple, and I knew that I had that, obviously that zone in the back of my mind, but I'm always happy when it does get to ADR that it's gets there, and I'm usually always happy just to close it out and be happy with my trade and be done for the day.
You can't really ask for much more than that. I think that would be a little bit aggressive, right? To be in a trade from, you know, where we were in to then get 5R to 80R, that's a pretty good move in a day. And also, we could touch on the idea of like why swing trading, I think, it's tougher when you're trying to trade with a decent amount of size, in my opinion, because look, I mean, this went up almost 6R to a level that we know it's extended its average daily move. This is what it does on an average, no matter what you want to say. So we know that. Why would you hold the trade? Now it's breaking down the EMAs. It breaks the 8. It breaks the 21. Now it's breaking the 50. So why would you hold these trades? You can easily get in, catch the rip, close it, move on to the next one.
And move on. Absolutely.
A lot of good value in this one. Out of everything that stuck out to you in this trade, I know you said that the trend line here falling into that rising RSI was the biggest issue. Was there anything else that you didn't like about it? I didn't have anything else.
I didn't have anything else. I liked how it closed above the consolidation. I liked the high time frame buys. I liked it all. And obviously the perfect liquid 50, you can't argue with a perfect liquid 50 in my case. And it was rising. The liquid 50 was rising.
What would make it an A setup then? That's the question I'm asking myself. If we want to be self-analytical, self-critical to be better always, like as traders.
Yeah, I do. I would have liked probably it closing up for a new high of day. I don't know if you like that.
Like that?
Yeah.
Maybe I would agree with you, but maybe at that point that candle would be overextended. But maybe if this was a little lower, right? Like if this maybe was only consolidated here, and we could get a breakout for a new high of day, that would trigger it in. Yeah, that would make sense to me as well, because you're getting the level two breakout for a high of day. That would be a better trade. That's a good note as well. Anything else that you would use to make it an A? And for me, I don't strive, like I don't get away from trading A setups, but I also know that I'm more conservative, so I'll call it a B and I'll trade it even smaller sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that was all I would have said to give it an A, was just that breakout of a new high of day, because everything else on it was good.
When you come into tomorrow now, knowing that this was your trade today to start the week, when you go into the rest of the week, which is NFP week, what's the mindset?
I'll just come back to the charts as I always do and just analyse my pairs and looking for that trend again and that perfect liquid 50. I'm not. This pair has came up and done what it had to do today. It's came to that zone, so I'm going to be aware of that, and I'm just going to. If it gave me another long opportunity, I would take it. But I'm going to look at all my other pairs to see what the best higher probability I can get in the market.
And what do you think you can do to make sure that you don't miss trades like this next time they present?
Say that again, sorry.
What do you think we can do as ASFX traders to make sure that we don't miss these entries when they present? These beautiful A1 breakouts, beautiful D1 breakouts. What do we do to make sure we don't miss them when they present?
I think that you've got to just stick to your perfect liquid 50 and your higher time frame confluences.
That's exactly what I would say. Yep.
And then you're not missing these. I think when you're starting to go with being off track on the higher time frames, then that can come down into your 15-minute and put you off.
For example, I believe like somebody was trading. It was
I think for new traders coming in, they don't concentrate on the higher time frames enough.
I would definitely agree with that. There was, and I think also they slack off in their analysis sometimes. I believe I want to find it. There was a trade today that somebody posted, and I literally didn't want to be mean, but I was like, brother, this is an F setup. There's nothing here, and this is the point. Because I'm not going to be able to find the exact markup, of course, but the point being that I think very often traders will get carried to an idea, or they'll trade an idea that might not be perfect, but because they take a loss.
Today, and it was British pound CHF, and when I went to the daily, I could see this is fallen, and you're fighting this short bias because there was no support until it was further down, so that it could ride right to that support before coming back up, and he was trying to go long. You know,
you're running uphill with a cement backpack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Pay attention to the higher time frames.
The higher time frame trend, and then. Also, if the move happens, like you said it did when we started the call, you were like, look, the GBP pairs already moved almost 80R. They already went. I'm off them. Just move off to another day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think at least for me, like the last lesson as far as duplicating the process would be staying with the trades that work best, even if it means not taking the trade. For example, when you see these new guys post a swap of liquid 50 where it spends most of the day in the sell zone and they're buying it. What do you expect? Like, that is not even a complicated process to understand with us, and you're forcing a trade on something where the indicators themselves are literally telling you it's less probable, and you're forcing something. So it's like, I think the idea of waiting, letting those good trades come to you, it's hard, right? We've had to work through, you and I both have had to, but I think honestly girls are better at it than guys, because guys let ego get in the way, right? You've seen that with every guy that you've worked with, right? Girls are much better at swallowing that ego and just letting the process be. So I think that everybody could take a little bit of your feminine energy and Riley's feminine energy and implement it into our trading. I think would be a lot better. But overall, the trade this morning, it's a great start to the week. It's a great start to NFP. Like I said, I think you answered it best. What do we do to consistently do this every day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month? Show up and look at the charts the same way we did today. Where's the perfect liquid 50? Where's the best TDI? Where's the best trend? Where's my EMAs? Where's my ADR? You don't find anything? Cool. It's a busy week. We know that.
Absolutely.
Oh, you do? You take it again, and you just take one at a time. And that's what I'm trying to do, because you remember, like with my Euro USD trade, I think 2 weeks ago, I ended up just missing a bunch of shorter term trades because I was stuck in a longer term trade. It was working. I was in profit, but it wasn't worth it financially. It would have been way smarter to take those shorter term trades. You get up, you fight, you go back to sleep. You get up, you fight, you go back to sleep. That's what we're doing, you know?
Totally agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
it's
for everybody, no, definitely a good one. And for everybody that wants to take this a step deeper and maybe get on a call with Lindsay to really pick her brain a little bit more if you have any specific questions, I'm going to put the link to her Calendly, where you can book an appointment with her, in the description of this video. I'll put her Instagram there as well. That way you guys can go follow her, ask her any questions, and see her daily trades. She and I both post all of our trades on Instagram, just to share the ideas. I think when you can do that, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know, some people would start making some serious coin trading and then they would stop sharing their ideas. But then right away, I'm like, yeah, but I love talking about it. I love sharing my ideas, and I love learning about this stuff more and more. So I appreciate you getting on. I appreciate you giving me some feedback on the trade today. And we'll do another one soon, Linz.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.